Games are going to ruin games for me. Like, that is a legitimate problem that I'm going to have to deal with at some point. That, like... I mean, I've already been dealing with it a little bit. You know, it's... I love video games, I love playing video games, but the more video games I play, I want to say the higher my standards get. And, so, every once in a while I get comments from people accusing me of not caring too much about the game because I'm not reacting to the major plot points. And I don't know how many of you guys saw my God of War series, but I called something incredibly major to the plot within the first half hour, and pretty much was just sitting there kind of low-key being like... that was not intentional. Low-key just saying to myself, you know, I am right, I'm right, I'm right. I know I'm right. Here it comes. Yep, there it is. I was right. And, you know, it's sort of stuck in my head a little bit. But, you know, I'm getting to the point where it's so easy for me to play a game and just be nonplussed by the actual gameplay. Or not the actual gameplay, the actual plot, because it's strangely static. You know, many games follow very similar tropes and trends and stuff, and it's very rare for me to get as emotionally invested, I think, as some other people. And so, like, yeah, oftentimes something, like, horrible will happen in the plot, and I'm like, no, that was so cliche, and everybody's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, it's so cliche! That Mother Gunship reveal, though. Yeah, that Mother Gunship reveal got me so hard. That was lovely. It's even rare for me to kind of partially predict the plot of a game and be totally fine with knowing what's going to happen ahead of time. The Wander Song was kind of like that. You know, it wasn't necessarily unpredictable the entire way through. You kind of knew how things would go, but you always hoped it would go differently. I had the same thing with Spider-Man recently. Let's see. Ending of Dragon Quest XI hit you in the same place. I really got to sit down and record that. Unfortunately, we got workmen coming over, and I'm not going to be able to record a damn thing tomorrow. Up until stream time, which annoys me a little bit. But so Wander Song, you know, for the most part, I really kind of knew exactly how the plot was going to go for every area. I wasn't terribly, like... You know, I wasn't terribly surprised by any of the major twists because it made sense. But I was so invested in it nonetheless. Spider-Man, the most recent Insomniac one that I played a month ago, that game was so fantastic and so well written. The Dr. Octopus plotline was like, it was perfect. I was sitting there hoping that it wouldn't follow, you know, the standard formula of Spider-Man games, movies, media, whatever. And, you know, it was just like, you know, no, don't do it. You were such a lovable character. And I did feel like his descent to madness might have been a little bit fast. But it was one of those where I was so invested in... I was so invested in the story and how they were handling it that even though I knew exactly what was going to happen, it didn't bother me at all. Though they almost got me. I thought they were going to have a twist. If any of you have read Ultimate Spider-Man, you'll know kind of what the twist I'm talking about is. But I thought they were going to have the Ultimate Spider-Man thing happen midway through the most recent Spider-Man game, and I was just like, no, 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 please don't do this. And they didn't, and it was actually, you know, it was quite, relieving. But, that's what I had predicted would happen partway through the game, and I'm like, no, that's not a plot that I'm gonna get behind, because that's a little much for me. And it didn't, I was very relieved. See, Wander, you're gonna play Thronebreaker? Yes. In probably about... Oh, geez. We're gonna get up to Retirement 25, and then I'm gonna actually try and get further in this game. Because I've just been grinding for the past hour. And I don't mind that, because it's a great time for me to just sit back, relax, and talk about just whatever the heck I want. But I would like to actually try and make a little bit of progress for once. Yeah, Dr. Octopus made a lot of people cry. Made me cry a little. Like, I was actually pretty sad. I actually really liked the most recent... I liked Spider-Man Homecoming, because it actually did kind of the same thing, though he wasn't exactly as good or moral in the beginning. That ending sequence in the prison was perfect, and I actually hope they do a follow-up with him. Because, for me, I like it when a villain redeems themselves and stays redeemed. There's, I was reading the Spider-Man comics a month ago, and there was an arc where Spider-Man, Peter Parker, effectively has started his own company, and it's like a big tech company and whatever, and, you know, huge tech projects. And he's attacked by some goons trying to kidnap... Was it a baby or something? Or... Yeah, it was an inhuman baby. The Inhumans are kind of like an alternate version of mutants, where they, like, breathe in a special kind of gas, and then they effectively mutate. Unlock their powers, whatever. And so there were a bunch of goons that were, like, trying to grab the baby, and the guy's like... One of the goons is like, is that Spider-Man coming? Because if it's Spider-Man, I'm out of here. And effectively tries to escape, but Spider-Man gets him anyway. And then realizes that the guy was, like, an old-school Spider-Man, like, one of the weak villains used, like, some kind of shockwave power. I don't even remember what it was. But, you know, Spider-Man recognized him and was like, you know, hey, you know, you don't have to do this, you know, like, here's a job, and gave the guy a job. Wait. Oh, that's weird. The beard disappears. Why is the beard disappearing? But only in combat. Huh. That's some... We've got Schrodinger's beard of a sort. It's here and there. And not... This is confusing. Hopefully it'll reset on the next retirement. Let's see. But I really liked that, because here's like this 2-bit villain that has tried to reform himself, you know, is trying to clean up his act, obviously not rob banks or try and fight Spider-Man or anything like that anymore. I found it really compelling, and then they just effectively had him disappear, and he stopped being a character, and I was kind of sad. And I mean, that goes back to my whole rant about how comics are kind of boring because they're so repetitive. But like, I would have loved it if I would love arc, a Spider-Man game, movie, wherever, that actually just has like the full run of Spider-Man. You don't have like reboots, remakes, reruns, crossovers, anything like that, save for like ones that kind of make sense in context. How far can I make it while naked? I don't know. But, you know, without falling to a lot of, like, those usual tropes. And... we can get all the way to Heavy Lies the Crown without putting clothes on. Largely unimpeded. We don't do enough damage. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to beat that guy, though. He's going to be tough. Let's just do Foggy Meadow. Would I like a reform of Joker? No, I don't think a reform... Well, yes and no. So, when I used to work at a game studio, on my lunch breaks I would watch cartoons, because it made me feel better about my job. And one of the cartoons that I'd watch semi-religiously was Batman Brave and the Bold. You know, I could get in about 2 episodes during my lunch break, and there was one arc where the Joker... It was like alternate universes where all the heroes were good, or all the heroes were bad and the villains were good, or something to that extent. I'm not entirely sure. But effectively, the Red Hood, who was actually the Joker in, you know, regular Batman's universe, was the good guy and was helping Batman out. And he wouldn't reveal who he was or anything like that. But, you know, there's kind of that reveal sort of at the end that it's like, you know, I don't think you'd like me in your universe. Or I don't think you want to know who I am in your alternate reality. And that was really charming. I don't think I'd like a reformed Joker. I like it when the bad guys who are bad still do good things because they have a reason to. So, the Lego DC villain game. I was watching Stumped play that one, and it actually looked kind of charming because all the heroes get kidnapped, and so the villains go on this romp to stop the alternate heroes from taking over. And they're still bad, but they're still kind of doing good, even though, they're doing good things. I don't know. I like it when villains do good things that are consistent with their character. And so, like, the Joker is an inherently selfish person, but he also, he kind of gets that, like, Gotham wouldn't be the same without Batman, so he never really tries to kill Batman. No, he does. He actively does try and kill Batman many, many times. But, the Joker that I guess I grew up with and was used to, he was more interested in, weirdly enough, maintaining the status quo of just mentally torturing Batman forever. And, it was always kind of charming to see him effectively low-key try and oust people that threatened that natural relationship of theirs, as weird as that sounds. And I found that to be kind of compelling. But no, I don't think the Joker could ever be turned good, and I don't think I'd enjoy watching media where he was good. See, what about the time when Lex Luthor decided to become Superman because Superman wasn't around? See, I'm fine with that. Lex Luthor always seemed like the character that, honestly, he should never have been like a full villain like he was. Lex Luthor should have always been not evil, but like almost like humanity shouldn't need Superman. Superman shouldn't be here. And, seeing kind of Superman's heroism, not as an affront to himself or his power or anything like that, but just kind of a mark against human determination that, an alien needs to be the one to save everybody and so on and so forth. And so, like, I get why Lex Luthor is jealous of Superman, and it makes sense, but at the same time, like, I feel like Lex Luthor should have simply just been trying to get rid of Superman, not to get rid of Superman because he hates Superman, but because he doesn't think Superman belongs, that the world shouldn't need Superman, because kind of like I guess I'm gonna draw the parallel to, I'm not gonna say, I wouldn't say it's atheism, but I have no idea what belief system this comes from. But I was talking to my mother about religion once, and she said, I truly have no idea if there's any kind of afterlife or God or whatever, but I try and be a good person, and whatever, if there is some kind of creator being, I hope they judge me for who I am. And not because I specifically was waving their flag around and stuff like that. And, kind of the belief that, like, you don't need a religion to tell you to be a good person and stuff like that. And I think I kind of wished Lex Luthor was a little bit closer to that. The idea that, like, we shouldn't need Superman to save ourselves, People should be capable of... weirdly enough, is it? No, agnosticism is, like, I don't know... that's neutralism? Maybe? I don't know. I don't really care. I've given up trying to ascribe belief systems because I think everybody should have their own, instead of trying to put a label on it. Really. But so I assume almost everybody has seen The Incredibles at this point. There's the main villain, Syndrome. He wants to give powers to everybody so no one is special. And I actually really sympathized with him as a character, except for the fact that he is a giant moron. And, like, he should have been... He should have been like, I want to give everybody powers because we shouldn't have to rely on superpowered people to save us. And I think Lex Luthor kind of should have been the same way. Yeah, once everyone's super, no one will be. Yeah, an incompetent, murdery moron. And yeah, and that was frustrating, because I like it when the villain is right. I like it when the villain actually has a point. I don't like it when it's just like, you know, I hate you, Superman, because... It's like, no, it's not compelling. But yeah, he did have a point, and I wanted Syndrome to actually be a guy who had a vendetta, but he had a point. And so that, you know, when the Incredibles beat him, it wasn't that, like, family values saved the day, but even one of those where it's like, well, did we do the right thing? He's a fairly sympathetic villain. He isn't. Syndrome was an interesting villain because he had a point. He had a good idea. He was actually trying to save and change the world in a productive manner. The problem was he was also a fool, because you don't change the world by killing people that disagree with you. That's for starters. Like that's no good. And, you know, reasonably getting rid of heroes would have been stupid. I think it would have been better if Syndrome had just straight up been handing superpowers out to people. It kind of reminds me of Megamind, where Megamind tries to recreate his, like, Superman-esque foe. Because... I don't even remember his name. But the Superman-esque character in Megamind had left, and Megamind was... you know, super depressed, because, yeah, he lost his rival and kind of his friend. And part of his reason to exist, and so on and so forth. And so he tried to give some schmuck powers, and it backfired miserably. I really like Megamind, actually. But, you know, it was kind of compelling in the same way. I don't know, I just want to bring up Megamind, because I thought it was good. But, you know, Syndrome's idea of, yeah, giving everybody superpowers to kind of fix the whole superhero situation, I think that would have been a good idea. And, you know, if the Incredibles were trying to stop him from just handing out superpowers to people, it would have been like, you know, we're technically right. People don't deserve to have these powers, and they can't control them, and, you know, the world's going to go to hell in a handbasket for it. But... you know, is this the right thing to do? Do we actually get the ability to, do we have the right to choose this for other people? You know, stuff like that. That's more interesting to me. I'm trying to think of other games where the villain has, like, a really good point. It bugged me a little bit about Dr. Octopus in the most recent game, because, and it made sense, but, you know, he lost his point halfway through. He wasn't trying to help people as much anymore. And he was hurting people because he had lost his mind and his way, and so on and so forth. But, like, I would have found it incredibly compelling if he had truly, you know, was doing evil so that he could help people. Or, you know, the evil is more of a morally gray thing than anything else. I don't know. Code Geass had an awesome villain. Code Geass was amazing. Weren't there rumors that there was going to be, like, another season or something like that? I thought I heard that, but I haven't followed up on it or anything like that. Wasn't there a Digimon game that had someone trying to merge the digital realm in our world? Maybe? I don't remember. See, Magneto and him wanting to end the war by turning everyone into a mutant. Magneto is such a weird character, because on one hand, like, half the time he has, like, a really good point. On the other hand, he's just a dick. And that's a notable consequence of the repetitive nature of comics. That, like, you can't have a consistent Magneto, which is annoying. Okay, so it is in production, and it's a new movie. Oh, I was really hoping it was a third season. But, like, sometimes all Magneto wants to do is just make a separate refuge for mutants, Genosha. Other times, he just wants to kill all humans. Other times, he wants to give all humans powers. And it's actually kind of frustrating, you know, because sometimes Magneto is, yeah, one of my favorite Marvel characters ever. Other times, he's just pointlessly a dick for no good reason. I think they got the character for Magneto down a lot more recently. At least from what I remember. I stopped reading X-Men, though, because everybody else just turned out to be a dick instead. And it's like, it's weird when Magneto is the most likable character of the bunch. But yeah, Genosha-centric Magneto is my favorite Magneto. Yeah, because, like, the idea of Magneto being a guy that just wants to protect his species, his people, and, you know, keep them safe on an island nation where they can grow and flourish and not be discriminated against. Like, for me, that is such a interesting character, and, you know, I could see him still being kind of a villain, you know, him taking out military installations or threats and the X-Men having to intervene because, you know, he might be overstepping himself, but it's like, well, we're actually trying to keep ourselves alive here. And, I find that so much more compelling than, like, what's a good example? I mean, the people that are like, survival of the fittest, you know, the strong have the right to rule the weak, and I'm like, no, that's dumb. That's not compelling. Every villain in EG has a point. I don't think I've seen, heard of, or read EG or whatever it is. See, Wander's gotten to the point where gear doesn't matter. Oh yeah. Well, no, gear does matter. There are points where I'm going to need it. I'm just trying to get up to retirement 25. Let's get up to 112. I could get up to 120, but it'd be kind of slow. Okay. There we go. Alright, restart. Okay, big chunky EXP bonus. So we'll retire one more time, and then I'm going to... You know, I'm not actually sure why I put points into Berserker defensive style. They're not actually that helpful here. At this point, it would be better to pick up the lightning perk for just raw damage early. Let's see, EG's a video game that did the full-on pacifism run long before Undertale. Really? Gizmo, can you actually send me a link to EG? Because I wouldn't mind taking a look at it. I love it when the heroes are wrong. I think that was one of the reasons why I was so, like, bothered about Nier Automata. Because, like, it was so close to having the heroes be wrong. But then it just became murky and confusing, and I was like, I can't tell if the heroes are wrong, or if everyone is wrong, or if everybody exists. I still don't know how to feel about the plot about Nier Automata. It was like, this is a great game that... Okay, where are we? There we are. Okay, so one more retirement. Wow, that was instantaneous. One more retirement, then we'll actually try and beat this. I want to see the last boss if I can. Let's see, is there a Nier Automata playthrough on Wander's channel? Yup. Yes, keep stroking those stat points. I really am just stroking them. I use the auto-clicker script to level up instead, because clicking a couple hundred times just to level up all my stats sucks. It's not comfortable. I guess I could actually use my middle finger here. I should be using my middle finger here. It's not quite as dexterous, but it definitely will save me a little bit of effort. My god, I might actually... Yeah, I can get up to level 100 without actually allocating stats past the initial bunch. Oh, that's gonna save me some trouble. Oh, I died. Well, I mean, I do have 100 stat points just lying around. This'll make a big old difference. And my problem is, this is my crappy mouse, and it's a little inaccurate. Tomorrow, the AT&T workmen are finally coming back to install AT&T's fiber service in this apartment. For some ungodly reason, I'm never going to be using it. Nobody should ever use it. We have Google Fiber, for crying out loud. I don't get it. But they're coming back to fix that up, so I'm probably going to take that as an opportunity to finally set up my, my computer on a different desk. Because currently it's just all been on... currently my computer's just been on the same desk. Or the same folding table since we got here, and it's not quite as good. So what happens if you get 100% crit? Not as many things as I think you would like. You can't get above. As a Warframe fan, games need red crits. You know, normally in video games, yeah, you're trying to get your crit rate above 25-50% if you can. More than that, starts to have diminishing returns. Just because, you know, above 100, there's no point. And so, like, it's probably better to have 10% more damage and a 90% crit than 10% less damage and a 100% crit, just because of random chance-ish. But... Wait, I beat... Here, Heavy Lies the Crown? Naked? Really? I'm strong enough for that now? I am strong enough for this. But yeah, I think overcritting is amazing. Overcritting and crit damage bonuses and stuff. Like, there's some mechanics that, that I think media needs more of. Can we beat the sleeping hero naked? Huh. I'm so glad we've got this at times 500 speed. This fight is actually taking a while. Nope. But I got him real close. One more... One more? Maybe? Like, one or two more, retirements, and we'd actually be able to do that. That's hilarious. Alright, well, let's go back to Heavy Lies the Crown. Maybe? Maybe not. These guys die too slow. Yeah, weapon is all you need for the hero then. Oh yeah. Maybe all hope is gone? But yeah, one or two more retirements and we could easily... Oh, we might be able to get up to 120 here. Still be kind of slow, but we could get up to it for the extra skill point. Then again, we don't need the extra skill points, now that I'm thinking about it. Because at this point, I've got every single skill. So at this point, I'm just going until this slows down. Because we want to grab as many stat points as possible from leveling past 100. But yeah, you should try and progress a little bit. Yes, so I want to. The only, so I want to progress. The only reason why I haven't done so yet is, my current build is bad. Because I went full all-rounder, and I think there's a better build. There's a couple of different builds I can try. I'm gonna try I have an idea for a bad build. but we're gonna try it just because I want to see what happens. Yeah, wait, when you enter stages, your beard disappears. Yeah, I'm not really sure why that's happening. Or is the beard too fast for human eyes? I think the beard turns so white it's invisible, actually. One punch build. I don't think we want to do a one punch build. It's still pretty... This is pretty slow. So we want to retire at this point. Okay. So this should be good enough. I'm going to set this down to 5 times speed. Maybe? I'm going to actually play here. So you should stop putting points into crit and attack speed since they have diminishing returns. Yes. So you want to get attack speed up to 30, crit to 20. After that, diminishing returns. So let's handle that now. This is ideally going to be my final build, but if I have to do management, then so be it. I don't know if I'm going to invest any points into attack power, just because I'm not entirely sure if it's worth it. Because the weapons scale you up real fast. And so I'm going to try and just be... I'm just going to try and be the unmovable bulk. And rely on my weapons to handle attack power. And we'll see how this goes. Do you want to get some points into attack power? Yeah, we'll get a couple points into attack power here. Especially for the early game boost. Okay. So, not quite enough stat points for everything, but that'll be fine. Okay, so we are one beefy dude. And that should be fine. Alright, Sunny Slime Farm. So this is ×2 speed, so we're still a little bit fast. So weapon attack buffs are additive. I think they're additive, yeah. Let's see, so you're not doing defense and HP equally, is that intended? Yeah, so ideally I'd like to get my defense up past 100,000 this run. Cryos in chat is saying he had 150,000 when he beat the game. So that's going to be my goal as well. I'd like to get the 1,000,000 damage achievement, but I don't know if we're going to get there. We might get there with some of the endgame equipment. Especially if we crit, but I don't really care too much about achievements. Okay, right. Because we're not going to need any of this equipment. I'm not even going to bother equipping it until we actually start dying with that equipment. Even though it'd speed things up a little bit, I just... almost not worth my time. Right. We have stat points. Okay, HP, attack, HP. Okay. Outlive. Oh. I'm at 100,000 HP already. Cool. Okay, you get 1,000,000 base attack later. Oh wow, you're still playing this. I think this is the last night that I play this. We're going to be switching. This game needs a delete all equipment button. It does. There's some quality of life improvements that they desperately need to add to this game. But I'd almost say, like, it would be nice if they just added it to the next game. It's not long enough that, like, they really become a problem. I guess it would have been more of a problem if I wasn't running this at, with speed hacks on. And yeah, no beard during battles, that's weird. Yeah, I don't know what happened to it. It comes and it goes. It's a weird beard. I had a friend once who ran a blog called Weird Beard, and he posted his art there. I wonder what happened to him. I don't know if he ever really did a whole lot of art, after college. But so one day he closed his blog, and he had actually had like a decent amount of traffic. It wasn't like too much. But when he closed his blog, the, you know, it becomes free for anybody to use. And effectively some, like, scummy ad company just steps in and takes it for themselves, and they're putting up just kind of these crappy ads in place. And I was a little bit disappointed, because I enjoyed his blog, and so my feed reader suddenly was just filled with these, like, really crappy, like, I'm gonna just say straight out, some of them were dick enlargement advertisements, and I was just like, 1, why is this on Blogger? 2, like, when a blog shuts down, it should, your feed readers should no longer pick it up, if, like, a new blog takes its place. I was kind of mad about that, because, yeah, I don't want to see that. I was Grumple. We should probably put some equipment on at some point. Let's see. Is the shove item fusion button right-click? You could actually... Oh yeah, you know what? That's a good point. I could do that. But yeah, I bet... well, no, I don't actually know why the beard disappears. I'm actually disappointed that they didn't have further than just long, scraggly with, like, a tie in it. Like, I almost feel like, oh, you know what? You know what this game should have had? Beard equipment. Like, how rad would that have been if you could equip, like, there was a beard slot right below the helmet slot that would change what your beard looks like. You know, braids, tassels, galactic.